Not only does every show have to have an endgame, every show has to have an ending theme. No, they're not just there so you can skip them during climactic moments. Rather, they provide a much needed opportunity to digest what you've just seen and recalibrate before moving on. Some of my favorite moments watching anime have been sitting with those simply still, stunned, slack jawed silences as the ending sequence does its job. Here are your nominees for Best ED of 2024.
For best ending is Crazy for You from Too Many Losing Heroines. And your public winner for best ending is Anytime, Anywhere from Freerun.
Now, I think Makaine actually had a couple of different endings. Is that correct? Is there one for every girl?
Yes, there is. And I was going to say, you guys have made some great choices here because I felt like Heroines, I'm not even going to try to say the Japanese name, I'm sorry. Heroines was kind of competing with itself for best ED this year. Like, it just had, every single one was a banger, and they weren't just bangers. Like, they weren't just great songs. They didn't just have great visuals, but they also just really complemented the story with each particular arc that corresponded with that character. And I loved all three of them. I actually had a question about this. I was wondering, at any point on the jury, was there a discussion about including all three of them, but then you decided that would be too much? Or did you just find ED1 was the worst of the three and you didn't feel as bad leaving it out, or what happened there?
I did think there was a lot of discussion about the Makaine endings in particular, just because all of them are so strong and so unique in their own right.
Yeah.
But I also feel like there was a bit of a gap between Crazy for You and Feel My Soul over the first ending,
For sure.
I forgot.
I was curious about that because it would have been funny to see all three of them just show up throughout the list. Yeah, and then Anytime, Anywhere, I've been a Millet stan. I don't know if that's, again, I don't know if that's how you pronounce her name, but I've been a huge fan of Millet since Vinland Saga Season 1, and I fully understand why the Freerun ED is as high as it is for the public as well.
I mean, we actually had a kind of mini category last year. We presented it almost like a Spotify Wrapped for best song, and Anytime Anywhere won over there as well. So it's really no surprise that it makes a repeat over here.
Yeah.
It's so catchy.
Yeah, I love her voice. Like, there's no other vocalist that sounds like she does, and it really complements Freerun as well, just tonally, story-wise. Like, it feels so nice at the end of every episode.
I mean, talk about complimenting Freerun too. I mean, the ending itself is this kind of like almost psychedelic kaleidoscope-esque, right? Kind of different blends of different mixed media. It really puts you in the mood.
Yeah, for sure. I do have to wonder, though, and I'm kind of leaning towards the public on this one. Usually I lean towards the jury, but I'm wondering, why is Oshinoko and Dandadan so low here? What happened?
I think for Dandadan in particular, I think it was more of like the creativity, I guess, in the sort of the concept of the ED in general, while its showing of the backstory of Turbo Granny is pretty... it's funny. and it's quite entertaining. I think the repeated elements of its visuals and just sort of how it's all composed together just didn't really stack up with a lot
Okay.
of the other endings from this year. And for Oshinoko,
This is the big one. Oshinoko, this is one of my favorite EDs from last year as well. And I thought this one like really complemented where the story eventually goes, and also is just a really good song and visuals. So I'm wondering what the reasoning was there.
I think a lot of the jury also enjoyed the song a lot as well, especially with the guitar at the beginning. That transition is just
Yeah.
amazing. But I think the big thing, just limiting Oshinoko's ending for this one, is just how a lot of its visual elements just didn't mesh well cohesively with like the whole entire concept, especially with the big blobs of color and how they sort of detracted from the stronger character art and sort of the
Okay.
pacing of the whole thing.
Okay.
And can you compare and contrast that against Crazy for You? Because if it has one thing going for it, it is that kind of cohesiveness, the kind of it really flows into each scene just effortlessly, in my opinion.
Yeah, Crazy for You was a very strong ending.
I have to agree with you guys. This is probably my favorite Edie from last year as well. I'm not even biased because Lemon was my favorite character from the show, but just the Edie itself was so good.
Yeah, it does a lot. It does a lot in its just creating a whole new world for Lemon and how that represents her sort of like dreamscape, her sort of love for, what was the guy's name? I completely forgot. But
You don't watch the show for the guys, let's be honest. I don't think anybody can tell you his name.
There's some like really amazing technical moments in the ED too. I mean, if you look at the end where like it was revealed that she's in the bath, and just the kind of like underwater effect that they were able to achieve before coming out of the water and then showing her reflection.
Yeah.
Chef's kiss. It's
And
done
just
so
when the
well.
chorus hits too, like just that transition into a much more vibrant song, like it just works so well with the visuals. I fully agree with you guys. Like it shows that ideal world that Lemon wants to live in. It's just so well done.
Yeah, and speaking of the chorus, when Lemon just starts running so happily and starts
Yeah.
like jumping into like the little heart formation, it's just so cute and shows her character off so well.
Yeah, I think this ED was what like fully converted me. Like I was on the fence, and then I was like, oh no, I think Lemon is my favorite now. But also the Kamari ED, like in that final arc of the story, like you don't expect after Crazy for You, you're like, okay, well, we're going downhill now. No way they recapture that. And then it's like just almost on that same level somehow. It's so good.
Feel My Soul is just magical. I think I could just watch the watercolor effects all day long. It's just it's insane how they just one up the endings every single time for each of the characters.
And so stylistically different from each other too. Like each one kind of went on a different path and did them all so well.
And ultimately, I think the style points is what kind of endeared Freerun's ED to the public, right? Because
Yeah.
I mean, it's so creatively unique. It's sort of almost papercrafty in a way, and then I think it just really reflects the show so well as well, right? So you've got this little walk sequence where Freerun is moving from left to right, and the backgrounds are changing with the seasons, and the colors are so vibrantly different every time. I think it really inhabits the core appeal of the show.
And I think this category in particular kind of gains bonus points from its attachment to the series itself, because like when you finish an episode, these pop on every time. And I feel like Freerun does gain some points for me with that, where like you'd finish a really good episode and then this pops on and it kind of, you grow attached to it more and more throughout the series because of that, outside the quality of the ED.
Are you all right?
Yeah. Every time.
It's so like, yeah, it's
It's
really
like
ingrained.
that's how you know you finished a quality Freerun episode.
Speaking of quality, we've also are crazy for the creators of the Makaine ED because they gave us something to say.
Oh, man, you guys have those connections.
That's very cool.
At the end of the day, what we're really trying to do is make sure that our appreciation is much received, and we're really lucky and happy that we are able to get that across. And thank y'all for speaking to me.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It was awesome.
It is a great honor that Too Many Losing Heroines was able to win an award for its ending video. I sincerely thank all of you who supported the show and enjoyed the video. The fact that we were able to take a different approach from the main series and attempt a more experimental form of visual expression with this was thanks to everyone involved whose flexible thinking supported the production, including A1 Pictures. We would be very happy if you were able to watch the video and experience a new side of the show. We're so proud that this video is able to transcend national borders and reach so many people. We hope you continue to enjoy the world of Too Many Losing Heroines. We received this message from Akihito Sudo, otherwise known as Kasen, and I just have to say, I think it really embodies why we have a best ED category in the first place. The fact that they are able to be more experimental and really show their creative chops. Thank you so much for the message. We hope to see more in the future.